Hello, Margaret Coolman here of Soul Astrology. We've been through some tight months lately, tough. And in contrast, this month looks a lot smoother. More of the energies of the planets are working together, so that the Sun and Moon at the end of Taurus are making really good contact, those green lines and the blue line, to Mars at the end of Cancer, to Neptune at the end of Pisces, and the blue line trining Pluto at the very beginning of Aquarius, and retrograding already, due to go back into Capricorn during June. But still in Aquarius now, and so perhaps the feeling of lightness about the new energy on offer, about how things could be given the best of Aquarius. Seeing the usefulness of AI and feeling the possibility of change towards more humanitarian outlook, maybe from the leaders. I don't know that bit because I don't pay much attention to the news as presented. But we also have Jupiter at the very beginning of Taurus, very close to the North Node, and to Mercury, the other side of the North Node. Jupiter has only just gone in. This is like an expansion of the path that humanity is due to be taking at present, as though we've been on a tight and sometimes very difficult path, and now it opens up into quite a highway. And at last we know how to do it. We know what the earth requires, what Mother Nature is trying to tell us, and there's more of an openness towards that. This, though, is where the awkwardness does show up. Those red lines, the squares from that early Taurus bunch, towards Mars and towards Pluto, who are opposite to each other. That tug of war between the end of Cancer and Aquarius. As Pluto goes back into Capricorn, that would make more sense, but being in Aquarius, it's as though the new that is being offered perhaps requires steps that are too big for us to take. And this would be quite right. The going back into Capricorn does rather indicate that we have other things to deal with, that we haven't finished doing. The practicalities are not quite lined up yet. We are not ready for Aquarius. And if anything, the Mars, the energy, especially Cancer energy, very concerned about the family and how to protect, care for everyone. There's some anxiety there about the future coming, how it will be, how will we manage. Because Mars is trining Neptune, the indication is that we need to be in a prayerful state. That is to say, asking for what is right to unfold itself, knowing that in fact it's beyond us even to see what it is, let alone create it. We need to take this position with respect to spirit, continually recognizing that we are not enough to determine human evolution. And this is perhaps the attitude that the new moon itself is focusing on, to allow the spirit space in our understanding. And the Taurus emphasis is suggesting that it's the spirit as expressed through physical life, as expressed through nature, through the earth herself, through our bodies. Going again to the early part of Taurus, the North Node, seeing Jupiter and Mercury there with it, making a really good connection to the Saturn in Pisces. Saturn being the authority that we rely on. We can reach that authority, an inner authority, through the body. So this would perhaps be the best focus for the month, to be in touch with the body and listen. Listen to what the earth is telling us, listen to what our bodies are telling us, what it needs for best survival. The body, our body, my body, is an expression of spirit. And it's this connection between the physical expression and spirit itself. That connection is what I call Margaret. Without acknowledging the spirit, I become a sort of conglomerate of different characteristics, all reacting and responding to circumstances that are outside and beyond my control, looking for what's comfortable, what I want, protecting myself against what I'm afraid of, what I think may hurt me. It is so important to recognize the spiritual expression, and that Margaret herself may not be in touch with that consciously all the time. So the need to constantly go within the body, relaxing any resistance to spiritual flow and listening for the truth of what is. It becomes very peaceful emotionally, very taken care of, and yet knowing what feels right, knowing what feels helpful. Just after the new moon, Mars leaves Cancer, so by the full moon it's well into Leo, still within the range of being opposite to Pluto. But in fact, Venus has taken its place, really opposing Pluto. So we're looking at relationships. Venus trines Neptune, and the solution to any relationship difficulties we may have is that surrender to spirit, the prayer for assistance. It is so perfectly okay to ask spirit to help and to guide, to repair what has been hurt, to make things the way they need to be. We cannot control circumstances. We shouldn't try to control other people. So to hand problems to the spirit is the best option and does allow for the smoothest solutions. The Sun and Moon from Gemini and Sagittarius are making quite a strong connection to Chiron and also to Mars, who rules Aries. So it looks like we have a good option to enjoy playing, full of oneself, full from the heart, the Leo, communicating just as we are. And the Venus comes into the squaring Jupiter and the nodes. So now we have Mars and Venus squaring Jupiter. Jupiter continuing to be square to Pluto. Very much a tendency to go over the top with things. Jupiter encourages us. It takes away fear, so we feel we could accomplish what we want. And when he's square to another planet, we often find that other planet going too far, that energy that the planet represents being a bit in your face. So over-caring from the Venus, over-sensitive, over-expressive of oneself from the Mars, and altogether that which needs to be let go and transformed, being made very, very clear by life's reactions to what we do. The injunction at the end of the letter is to enjoy ourselves, be loving, be giving, but also Be prepared to step back as soon as there is a sense of overwhelm in the wings. To step back just before we go too far. And most beautifully, I think, Mercury is together with Uranus. They don't connect to anything else. So when we do step back, we get the observer's position. It's like going quiet just before you said the wrong thing, the hurtful thing. Our job is to remain conscious of the energy we're expressing, and conscious that other people are also facing the same potential problem. They may also be going a bit further than they mean. So let's cut ourselves a bit of slack, be tolerant with what comes at us from others, step back, observe and learn, forgive, be gentle, laugh at oneself, for it's all part of the human condition. We're evolving wonderfully, and we're not in charge of it. But life is all acceptance, so there's no need to judge, not ourselves or other people. Jupiter also represents for me that pipe of giving and receiving, where you have to really give something before there's room in the pipe for anything to flow in. What you're aiming for, what we're all aiming for, is a smooth flow. So we receive and we give and it equals out. And there is often that position where the pipe isn't as clean as we might have hoped, and the first stuff that gushes out isn't perfectly appropriate to the present, washing out gunk from the past. But that's just the first bit of flow. After that, it's good, it's smooth, it's clear. And one of the most important things, if you want flow, is to receive what is given. We receive enough from the earth. We need to be able to receive from each other, not always expecting ourselves to be the giver. And receiving doesn't really happen. We can take what is given, but we don't properly receive it unless we feel grateful. So it's learning to say thank you and mean it, which is a wonderful gift to a giver, to be genuinely thanked. We need to thank the earth, be grateful for the gifts of nature, grateful for the beauty. We need also to be grateful for ourselves, for hanging in there. Grateful when we actually listen to the body, when we treat ourselves well, when we give ourselves space that we need, or find company when we need that. A quiet thank you on the inside feels really good. So let's enjoy this month. It's certainly different energy from what we've been used to recently. Have fun. Trees speak. You just have to let your body do the listening. You are all natural shamans. You just have to be in your body and listen. Let go of wants and needs. Relax and focus on what there is around you as it is. Feel all presence as it is, the same one whose energy is encompassing, allowing, being love that you are and we are, and all life is.